guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and let's talk about X-Men 97 Season 1 Episode 7, Bright Eyes. Yes, that's right. We're picking up from Life and Death Part 2. And let's just say Rogue is on a rampage. So it opens up with Remy LeBeau's, aka Gambit's, funeral, and everybody's in attendance except for Rogue. While everybody's kind of grieving the loss of Gambit, she's going around trying to find all of her trash and trying to figure out what's going on or whatever. Like, she is upset, she's angry, she's grieving, but you know, right now her energy and time and effort is into focusing on finding the people who are responsible for the mutant massacre. And it's kind of funny, when she went to the military base they was like, stand down, mutant, and stuff like that, and Rogue like was pulling out all the stops. Like, if you guys play X-Men versus Street Fighter, or I think it was Marvel versus Capcom 2, they pulled some of her moves from the show. So I don't know if any of you guys noticed that, like, some of the moves that Rogue was doing in the show was literally from those games. So that was a little cool callback. But I think that was General Ross we saw, right? I don't know if it was General Ross we saw, but it was kind of crazy, because, you know, Rogue goes for Gyrick and Trask. Yeah, it was Thunderbolt Ross that we see, and it was like, sir, you know, we got Rogue outside, and he was like, please, this thing was built to stop the Hulk. What can she do? And then Rogue bust in like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Jesus Christ. So this time Rogue is upset. Like, she is mad. Thunderbolt Ross tells her that, you know, he's in some kind of like secluded area, and Rogue decides to go there, and Captain America meets her, and she's basically like telling him the situation that's going on. Captain America was like, wait, hold on, Rogue, you can't just go rampaging across, because right now people are already, you know, upset with the mutants. Relationships right now are breaking down, and people believe that there's going to be a war going on between humans and mutants right now. And she's basically saying like, hey, you know, this mutant massacre happened, and, you know, it's good to kind of see a friendly face. Are you here to help us? And he was like, well, his hands are tied. And she was like, well, okay, if your hands are tied then, and you can't help us out, then you won't be needing this shield for a while. So she takes Captain America's shield and toss his shield far away. And, you know, Captain America's like, oh, you know, which is kind of strange, and it's kind of a little out of character for Captain America, because even Captain America was like, you know, Gyrick is in Mexico, and then Gyrick, of course, he's Rogue goes to Mexico to find him, because, like I said, Captain America told him that's where he's at, and he can't go in there because, you know, he kind of still represents America, and that would cause international stir, which is kind of strange, because, once again, Captain America is still a vigilante. Yeah, he does kind of work on behalf of the government, but at the same time, a criminal is a criminal, you know. So I don't know, or at least Captain America would have at least sent an Avenger there, you know what I'm saying? So it was kind of strange. I know some people were like, how is Captain America alive right now? Because of the fact that the last time we saw him, he was stuck in space and time with the Red Skull from Spider-Man, the animated series. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, we don't know how many years has passed. He might have been able to be freed from that. So that could be something, if you ask me. But, you know, I guess we'll find out that later. Which, if you ask me, I think Marvel, this would be the great time to do that Captain America television series that you guys said that y'all couldn't have done. That got canceled. That they was going to do it. I think we was going to get a Daredevil and a Captain America television series that would have been in the same universe as the Fantastic Four animated series, the Spider-Man animated series, X-Men the animated series as well. So that would have been cool to see, if you ask me. Oh, and it's kind of funny because I didn't even realize Captain America was going to appear in this episode, and I posted a drawing of Sarah Rogers. I don't know if any of you guys know who Sarah Rogers is. Sarah Rogers is the daughter of Captain America and Rogue from an alternate universe. I think it's Earth 92811, I believe. It's from a What If. So basically, what if Battle World never ended or whatever, and the heroes kind of just settled in that universe or whatever. So apparently Rogue and Carol are kind of like merged, like their minds are kind of merged or whatever. And her and Captain America get together, and they have a daughter called Sarah Rogers. And of course, Sarah, she has the abilities of her mother, but she also uses her father's shield, and she's worthy of using Mjolnir, which the hammer chose her. So it's kind of uncanny funniness that I did a drawing of their daughter while Captain America guest stars in X-Men 97, even if it wasn't that long of a cameo. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, Rogue finds Gyrick in Mexico. Gyrick was like, don't bother with your psychic because I'm not telling you anything. She was like, honey, this is a different kind of, you know what I'm saying? A different kind of thing. So she absorbs all his memories to find out what's going on. And it was really hard on her, because she kind of blanked out, and then she ended up in Magicport. And we find out that there's a mysterious man that Mr. Sinister is working for. And the mysterious man comes because he finds Gyrick recovering from everything, and he kills Gyrick while Mr. Sinister is asking, like, what's the next plan? Now, while that's happening, the X-Men are still are in Genosha. Peace confronts the reporter about, how humans don't tolerate mutants, and that was maybe their mistake for trying to believe that Charles Xavier's dream was correct, which I know a lot of people were upset that, the X-Men are kind of like going out on this rogue-like feelings of what's the point of saving the world or trying to tolerate humanity when they won't even tolerate mutants, which I'm like, X-Men, y'all dealt with this nonsense before, but now the mutant massacre is where you want to question this. Like, come on now. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people were upset that Rogue and Beast were a little out of character when it comes to that, especially Beast. Beast is usually the pacifist, so that was kind of strange coming from him. But again, we have to remember these characters are also grieving the loss of Gambit, so that might also go along with the reason why they're feeling some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? That's just my kind of personal opinion on that kind of take. So Jubilee tells Roberto that, like, you need to tell your parents because it doesn't make any sense that, that what if you were on Genosha and your parents found out that you was a mutant through the nonsense that happened here, the massacre that happened here. So they goes to his house, and his mom tells him that she knew that he was a mutant, but she wanted to wait until he was comfortable enough to tell her because she didn't want to force it. And she also stated that, with everything that's going on with the mutant massacre, she can't tell people that her son is a mutant because of the mutant massacre. The board right now, they're not really accepting with mutants right now because some people believe that the mutants just did this to cause division. So she was like, we got to keep this a secret. Then we go to the X-Men finding Emma Frost in the wreckage because her second mutation kicked in, which allowed her to create a diamond form. And once again, that's another callback to the Mutant Massacre where Emma Frost was there. And at the time, Emma was only a telepath. But then, that's when they introduced second mutations for a lot of the mutants and discovered that sometimes mutants can also go through a mutation through certain stress, which creates another ability. Some mutant abilities, here's their main powers is this, and then bam, there's another one. So Beast would kind of be like a secondary mutation as well, where his original one was, he has like the strength and body of a gorilla, a beast like or whatever, and then his second mutation is his second mutation is his high intelligent genius level intellect, as well as the transformation of, becoming this blue furry creature as well. So that's something. Excuse me. So that happens. Rogue and the X-Man meet up in Magipore because, she kind of passed out from all of that memory absorption. Oh, excuse me. And Nightcrawler meets her, and, she was like, well, she's a poor excuse of a sister. And he was like, no, sister, you're just grieving, just like everyone else. And Rogue finally breaks down about it. And then the X-Men show up, and they're like, hey, we're here for you as well. And they go and look at the place where Gyrick was at. And then they run into Trask, and Trask kind of explains that Mr. Sinister came to him and made him do some things or whatever. And, he was going to try to kill himself. Then Rogue grabbed him, and she was like, you got it. Is there something else or whatever? And he was like, no, that's all I know. And then she was like, well, that's a shame. And then she drops him, and everybody was like, oh my God, Rogue, what have you done? And she was like, why? What? She was like, he was the one who helped created the master mold that killed Remy, my man, and stuff like that. So she kind of admitted that, because, if you guys don't remember, she was going to choose Gambit anyway, but never got a chance to tell him. And when that happened, Trask exploded and turned into a Sentinel human hybrid, and the X-Men started fighting him off or whatever. And we got to see Jean Grey. This time she didn't pass out from using her psychic powers. That was pretty funny. Which also, that reminds me, that goes back to a conversation that Cyclops and Jean had about how, they just kind of hope that people survive, because Jean always came back, and Scott is kind of like grieving the process of it. And she's, Jean's telling him that, it's nobody's fault, and she's sorry that everything happened. But, he's like, he's sorry that everything happened as well. But he was just hoping because she came back, everybody else will come back. You know what I'm saying? So he's kind of like in denial of everything that's going on right now, because they still want to search for survivors, and the UN said that they can't offer any more help, which, that kind of pisses Scott off. But, I get it. Everybody's grieving. It is a grieving process, you got to go through. And then, once Trask turns into one of those Sentinel robots, it starts fighting the X-Men, and then of course, the X-Men are saved by Cable, and then Jean was like, "It's you," and then he was like, "Don't, you're not her." And then Cyclops was like, "Oh my God, it's Cable, what are you doing here?" And then he looked into Cable, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're Nathan." He was like, "Yeah, great reunion, Dad, but we have to stop Mr. Sinister, or the world is going to be destroyed." And then we find out that Magneto is still alive, but he's being held captive by Bastion. Bastion is the one that sent the Master Mold, and Bastion is a humanoid sentinel from the future. And then Bastion shows Mr. Sinister that Charles Xavier is live, and basically he's saying that it's time to blow up the dream that Charles Xavier had for everybody, because you know the world believed that Charles died at the end of season 5 for the X-Men, but what happened is he survived and he's in space with Lilandra, and that Bastion wanted to expose that. So basically that's pretty much it. That's pretty much where we left off at, and that's the review for X-Men 97, episode 7, Bright Eyes. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you guys still watching it? Are you guys still watching it? You guys let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.